Hey everybody, it's down the line, episode 6. We're here with Mr. Jake Middlebrooks from Arkansas. How you doing, Jake? Oh, not too bad. A little flustered. I had a long weekend with deer hunting, and then I finally remembered I had to come back and talk to you. Yeah, I did. I did. It was I didn't I didn't measure it or none of that. I was so excited that we just chopped its head off. I took it to town and they took it to taxidermist. But yeah, of course, we have to test for CWD here, and they they ask you when you take it to get it tested, um, are you going to get it mounted? And usually I'm not going to get a full mount, but if you tell them you are going to get a shoulder mount, then they don't cut the neck. And I'm like, why don't I just tell them? But I was just like, no, I'm not going to. So they hacked it up. And you get a card. It's kind of weird, but I guess if you don't want to eat it, but yeah, 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 yep, yep. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So we can. So everybody, like I said, this is Jake Middlebrooks. Jake, you want to tell a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, how you got in trapping, and stuff like that?
and holding them and then taking them to pins. Uh,
Hold on a second, dude. They say they can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
Well, I can hear you. They say everybody else can't hear you.
Okay.
I gotta figure this out real quick on the fly. Okay. So, Millicent, you can hear him. Is that what you're telling me? I got my wife upstairs watching. We're super professional around here.
Hey, that's the editing room.
Yeah, yeah. The control room.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Roger Montgomery says that he can hear you now. Okay, let's start over.
Awesome. Hey,
So,
Roger.
all right, go ahead and start over with your what they didn't hear.
Um, I'm an Arkansas trapper, and I'm from Fulton County. Grew up in Fulton County, and that's primarily where I trap. But I trap in several different counties. Izard County, I'm in there. I've got some properties there I'm working on right now, and we'll hit Baxter County and a few others this year. Hopefully, if everything goes right. Uh, I kind of got into trapping later in life, and my grandpa was a reason for me to get into trapping. He was always, trapping, and he ran coon dogs for raccoons, and just all the time outdoorsman. He had a farm, and that's where I started trapping. At was his farm, and that's where I caught my first coyote. At was on his farm. I mean, just right up the hill from where I live, basically.
Cool, cool. I wasn't so lucky. My I grew up on a farm when I was little. I think we moved to town when I was probably 3. Um, and I didn't. My dad didn't hunt. He didn't trap. I got into hunting with a buddy of mine, and I was a hardcore bow hunter for years. And then
Yeah.
we had the big CWD outbreak, and they killed 600 plus deer, like 20 miles from where I deer hunted. And the deer that
Wow.
I got this year was we saw those every year. Every year we saw big deer, and it went to not seeing any. And that was in, I want to say, 2007, 2007 or 2008. And then I was like, well, I'm not going to sit in a deer stand and see nothing.
Right.
So I got a
Right.
buddy of
But it's
mine.
taken this long for the population to rebound.
Yeah, yep, it really has. So that's when I got trapping, and I watched YouTube videos, and I had a buddy I worked with who was a trapper, and he's like, do this, this, and this, and we were off to the races. So, but yeah, I don't know.
Once you get hooked, that's it. That's it.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
gonna be
it
a
is.
trapper for life.
Yep, I bought a brand new bow I think in 2008 or two that year, and it's sitting in a corner in the case. I got it out when the daughter was shooting 4-H archery, and I shot a little bit with her. But yeah, it's lightly used. But so, what you said your grandpa got you into trapping, and did was he? I mean, did he just say, like most older gentlemen, like they're like, just take the trap, go out there and do it, or did he like actually show you like?
He didn't really give me any instruction. We just talked about, trapping when he was younger. He also did a lot of predator calling at night and stuff like that. Uh, liked to hunt fox. Liked to run his hound dogs for coons, and that was the big thing around here when he was younger. Was the raccoon market.
Yeah,
I'm sure they made quite a bit of money on raccoons back then.
yeah, yeah. My father-in-law, that's what he trapped strictly for coons. I mean, he worked, I don't know, nights I think at a slaughterhouse, and then he would come home and nap for like 30 minutes, and then his buddy'd pick him up, and they'd go out, run their line, and he said there were years they had coon hides just piled up when they go sell them in the back of just laid flat but piled up in a truck bed. I was just like, man, that'd be crazy. But
That'd be, I mean, too bad we don't have that right now with the fur market with raccoons
yeah,
too. There'd be
it's
more people target
yeah,
them, and
yeah,
it also help our turkey populations out too.
yeah, yeah. I know. But what other hobbies do you enjoy other than trapping? I mean,
I like to deer hunt when I get a chance to, and I like to turkey hunt in the spring as well.
yeah,
A friend of mine, Brent, got me into turkey hunting a few years ago, and it's kind of been downhill since then.
yeah. That's like I've never been like duck hunting, but they said don't ever go duck hunting because once you do it, like you're hooked. You'll sell everything you own to buy decoys and get everything
Yeah,
shotgun shells. So, but yeah, we turkey hunt on the same property we deer hunt on, and my wife and I begged her to go, and she finally one day she's just like, okay, I'll go. And so she goes, but if I'm gonna go, she goes, I'm gonna shoot one with my bow. I was like, honey, I was like, you're handicapping yourself. I was like, it's one of the hardest animals to hunt. And I was like, and you're gonna try to shoot one with a bow, which she hadn't been shooting a bow but a year or two. But she sat on a 5-gallon bucket and shot arrows every night. So I was like, okay. So we got out there, I got the blind set up, and I got one come in like right next to us. And as soon as he hit the opening, he was strutting and he was spitting and drumming and he was gobbling, and she's just sitting there like, holy crap. She was just amazed. And I was like, when he gets in between the windows, we can't see. I was like, draw. She was like, and he got there and she started to draw back, got about half draw, and kabing. I was like, what the hell happened? She's like, I don't know. So she had her finger on the release trigger when she was drawing back, and that thing missed my knee by about that far.
Oh
Went
man.
through, and she's like, what do I do? I was like, you knock another arrow. And he's looking around like, what the heck was that? And finally, he saw us rustling around, and he took off, and she flung another arrow at him, about 30 yards missed. But after that, she's hooked. She still likes to go, but not very often. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, and then I don't know what else you see around here. You said coon hunting, coon dogs. And up here, I used to run when I was a bow hunter. Used to run coyote hounds, and I know that's weird to some people because they're like, wait a minute, you used to run coyote hounds and now you trap, because those two worlds don't mix really. I mean,
Yeah, they often butt heads
yeah,
together a little bit.
yeah, and I've still got good buddies that run a lot of hounds, and they they're like, come up and make a video, and I'm just like, oh, I want to go when there's snow on the ground, because that's the best time to run dogs. When there's
Yeah.
snow on the ground, you can, because they're just everywhere. But everybody wants to come out and go coyote hunting on the weekends when it's snowing. So
I mean,
Well,
that's the you say running hounds for coyotes. Where I live, there's some guys here that are. I mean, they're them and those dogs get after them. Our territories where I trap and they run hounds kind of butt up against each other, but we've always, they know I'll let go their dog if it was to get caught, and they don't mess with coyotes in traps. So we've had a pretty good relationship, and they know I'm trapping for people with hound dogs anyway, because
yeah,
that's what all these live pins want. They want to see their dogs run,
yep, yep.
and they've got just as much right to run those dogs as we do to trap. We've just
Hmm.
all got to get along, and it's worked out really good for me. I've got a good relationship with the guys around here that run hounds.
Yeah, yep, yeah. I don't see where I trap now. Nobody runs hounds because it's. I mean, hell, you run 4 or 5 miles before you can get to another road. That's the land. There's not as many roads.
Right,
Up in North Missouri where I grew up, you know, they call them squares, and it's a mile by mile square, and there's a gravel road usually on each side, or a field road you can get to.
right.
Man, up here, you turn a dog loose, he's liable to end up in Hannibal, Missouri. Before you get him stopped. And that's
A lot of
30.
territory in between
Yeah,
roads.
yeah. There's no way to get there. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's I don't know. I started trapping there, and we always got along really well. And I always told them, man, if your dog gets in it, get him out and just leave the trap there. And I tried to tell them, hey, I'm in this area, and
yeah. I
and
mean, just
communicate.
a nice hey, I've got traps out. That goes a long way with guys that hunt hounds. I mean, that way they know
Yep.
you care enough about their dog to give them a heads up.
Yeah.
I mean, I even do that with some homeowners. If I've got traps relatively close to residences, I'll knock on the door and say, "Hey, if you have dogs, here's a heads up."
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
because it never fails. I mean, a dog will go straight to a trap first thing
Yeah. You can.
if they're out running.
He'd have 600 yards of open stuff, and he's going to run to the one spot you got to trap. It
Yeah,
just never
every time.
fails.
Well, you just turn them loose. Treat them gently, and usually they leave with their tail wagging. So
Yeah. Yeah. They usually want, because I use a side by side, and they usually want to ride.
hop up in there with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I've
I'm
had
like,
dogs get in the truck with me or jump on the four wheeler with me.
yep. Yep. It's it's not the dog's fault. Dog doesn't know property lines and this and that, and so like you said, we got to get along. Work together. But so you trap a lot for the live market, which is
Yes,
something
sir.
around here that's I don't know of anybody around here that does that. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, we catch a coyote in a snare or a foot trap, and we're going to take that coyote out, put him in a cage in the back of the truck, and take him home. We give them medications to help their foot heal, or any kind of injury that they might have. Make them the healthiest coyote they can be. That way, when they go to these pens, you're giving them the best product that you can give them, uh, and that's basically the long and short of it. A whole lot goes into it, but as long as you're willing to handle them alive and keep your hand out of their mouth, then it's usually goes pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. They. I remember we are going back to running hounds, but we had a pen we would go to, and when I first went, I was like, what happens if my dog catches one of these coyotes in the pen? My buddies Tyler and Tyson, they just laughed at me, and they're like, just like there's not a dog around here that's gonna catch one in a pen. And I was like, and they go, if they do, it's like you better get your checkbook out. So, but
Yeah, I
we,
mean those pens value those coyotes
yeah,
or fox or whatever they've got in there. They lose one, it costs them money.
yeah, yeah. But we'd sit there at a crossing, and them coyotes just trotting, and you hear them dogs back there, burr, 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 and the coyote would trot along. And about I don't know, a minute or so, here come them coyotes just full bore. I mean, them coyotes were in such good shape. They didn't. I mean, that's what they did. They ran from dogs all the time in that pen, so they just trot
Pretty
along
much
and
athletes at
yeah,
that point in
yeah,
time.
yep, yep. But it was a good time. It was definitely a good time. But
And
So
it's good for the coyotes as well. I think. I mean, you're taking them out of the wild where they could be a problem for somebody. A lot like I got calls earlier this year. Coyotes are killing sheep. Come out and catch these. Well, we take a coyote that's out killing sheep, and whether somebody else would have just killed it,
yeah,
and we're
yeah,
taking that problem away from the landowner and giving it to the pen that wants it, and all that coyote's got to do then is run from hound dogs and eat dog food and live out
yeah,
its life.
yeah, and
Uh,
be
it,
lazy. Lay around when it's not. They're living a good
yeah,
life. People think we got them in a pen. These pens are big. They're not like a 6 by 10 pen. You'd think.
oh yeah, no,
They're
there are hundreds and hundreds of acres.
yeah, 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 and they're a lot of fun to go to. There's nothing more satisfying than it like being dark and listening to a dog. Barking. Chasing or even baying.
That's
But
what I mean. That's what the hound guys live for. They like to hear those mouths on the dogs.
yep,
They want to see them run. They're in it for the chase. They don't necessarily want to kill the coyote either. They're in it for the race right there, basically.
yeah, yep, yep. It's neat to watch. I don't know, but so back to trapping. What uh, what's your favorite sets do you like to put out?
Um, I mean, I would say a strong 85% of what I put in is a step down dirt hole set. Um, I think it's highly effective. Once they commit to it, they're committed, and you've pretty much got them caught at that point. Um, I also like putting in a good flat set. T-bone flat set's hard to beat. You throw that T-bone up against a clump of grass and put a little food lure on it, and spray it with urine, and blend it in real good. That's you're going to catch something. It'll be a bobcat or a coyote. I mean, sometimes it's a possum, but
A
you
lot of
got to take the
times
good
it's
with the
possum.
bad.
A lot of times it's a possum. Yeah, but yeah, that's like me. Those are basic dirt hole and flat sets. Those are my main go tos. I mean, I tried a couple different sets that some guys had told me that this is all I use. Well, I mean, I can't say they don't work because I never caught nothing on it, but I didn't have any sign that there was something working to set. So,
Right.
but yeah, cables. We have to call them cable restraints here in Missouri. They're not snares, but
That's what I'm using is
yeah,
cable restraints.
yeah,
Actually, a lot of the ones I get from Southern Snares are the Missouri legal cable restraint.
yeah, yeah.
It's
But
I mean that's a heck of a good snare, or
yeah,
it's a heck of a good cable
yeah.
restraint. It holds them like you want them. It's good strong cable.
Is is
Not
it that
had any
real?
problems with those.
What I don't know. Is that the real smooth, like cable, whatever that is?
I'm using 1x19.
One by
Uh,
19.
it's not like the 7x7 3/32. It is a little bit smoother, and chew outs are pretty much non-existent. There's not a whole lot of coyotes that are going to chew through that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes it seems like cables are it's almost like cheating. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because you can set them to where like a coon can run under them, or a deer's
Yeah,
gonna knock them over. I mean,
you're narrowing that. You're taking out all the. You're not going to catch a possum in a cable restraint. You're not
yeah,
going to catch a coon. The deer might knock it over, but you just takes 2 seconds to set it back up, and you're on down the trail and checking more traps.
yep, yep,
Um, I think everybody, whether you're a trapper or not, or every trapper out there, honestly, ought to try to incorporate snares where it's legal,
yeah,
because you're just going to add to your bottom line. You're going to add to your catch.
yeah,
Um, this coyote I caught today was in a cable restraint, and it's the seventh one out of the same trail. They're running this terrace that goes through this trail, and they're running it to a dead horse. And I went down there and looked. The farmer told me about the horse, and I went down there and looked at it, and kind of walked up on where the road crosses this terrace and looked down both ways. And I'm like, that's a coyote trail. We're gonna set it and set it heavy,
yeah,
and we've about got all the grass mowed off of it now.
yeah, yeah. They and two, I don't like people are like, well, there's a dead deer or gut pile or whatever down there. You should set traps down there. Nah, you don't want to do that. I mean, that's the quickest way to catch an eagle or a hawk
Yeah, you've got
or
like we can't set a trap next to a carcass in my state.
yeah,
Some states will allow you to, but here we've got to be like I think it's 20 feet off of that.
yeah,
Um, now I definitely will take advantage of a carcass, and I'll back off and be legal and catch them coming to it.
yeah,
Uh, that's just to me that's a natural draw.
yeah,
They're gonna want to come to that, whether it's a dead cow, dead horse, even dead deer. Their their lives revolve around protein for the biggest part of the year, and where they can get a free, easy meal, they're going to take advantage of it. And you know, as trappers, if you're wanting to catch a bunch, you got to take advantage of every situation you can.
yep, yep, most
So if
definitely.
I've got a dead deer somewhere or whatever, I'll wait and look, find the trails, and then set snares up going to those dead deer or going to any kind of carcass really
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
big enough not to be moved by them.
yeah. I have to be quite a ways away for I'll put like a foothold in, but I'll hammer in a bunch of cable restraints and snares and stuff. So yeah, it's I I mean, there's guys that talk about. Of course, I saw a guy. I can't remember his name. He's from Missouri. He he's a professional trapper, and he goes out like South Dakota, and he runs cable restraints and snares or whatever is legal out there, and he baits like here in Missouri. He's like, I'll bait. He's got a butcher shop that leaves gives him scrap bones and stuff, and he goes,
Right.
I'll just make a bait pile. He goes, I'll fill that thing all year long. And then he goes, a couple weeks before trapping, he goes, I'll just quit baiting it and start. He goes, I'll start close with cables. And he goes, once I get the grass and stuff knocked down, he goes, I just move back. Just keep moving back.
Yeah,
And he
just keep
goes,
moving away from it
yeah,
because they're going to come in from a long ways away.
yeah, yeah. And he says he's buddies with all the county guys that like blade the roads. And he goes,
Uh-huh.
so they know. He'll tell them, hey, I got if there's not a good spot to hide the animal where he catches it on one side, he goes, I'll just run a cable across the road where they can run like a drowning rig on
Right.
beaver. He goes, I'll just run it to the other side if it's got a good ditch. And he goes, those guys will come through with the blade. And he goes, they'll stop and they'll lift it up, go over his run cable, set it back down, and keep going. So I was like, man, you're lucky because around here they just mow it. They just mow it over. They don't even
Yeah.
see it.
I don't think we're allowed in Arkansas. I don't think I can have a snare in the right of way.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I can have a trap there, but I can't have a snare.
Wow. Yeah. I
Which
think we can here. I mean, yeah, as long as they're. I don't know. I know we can trap right of ways. So I don't trap a whole lot of them because I don't like my stuff getting
it's a good way to
rehomed.
lose a trap.
Yeah. I don't like my stuff getting rehomed. Everything I trap is all private. It's all private land. But no, I thought that was interesting that he could do that. But
Yeah,
no.
it's a neat trick. I mean, that's actually a really good idea. That way they're hid from the public view.
Yeah, and he's where he lives, the area, it's pretty much basically anything north of him is very rural. Like there's probably not a major town for pushing the Iowa line, and
Okay.
yeah, he's in the, we're 36, Highway 36 is probably, let's see, it's probably 2.5 hours to the Iowa line. That northwest corner of Missouri is pretty sparse. There's not a
Yeah.
lot of stuff. There's little towns, old towns and stuff in there. There may be 4 houses on a blacktop, but here you drive 10 minutes down the road, you're in another town.
Right.
On a major road. But we'll move along. I talk too much about what I'm doing. I need to be talking about what you're doing. I need to
Oh
work
no, I'm
on that.
enjoying talking to you.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, what has changed trapping the most? We'll say in the past 10 years, or we can go farther, 20.
Hmm. Well, I think the negative pushback against trapping has been, increased in the last 10 years, and that's something where a lot of times we've been, behind on that. Um, as far as, you know, advancing trapping. There's a lot better traps nowadays than what they used to have back in the day. The No BS Canine Extremes. That's a heck of a good trap. The new MB Alphas. I've not got my hands on one yet, but I can't wait to see those. And even like the MB 450s and 550s and what Duke's doing with the 550. So, those traps with those big cast iron jaws. That's a lot more humane than what you would get off, like, say, like a stamp, like an
Yeah,
old Duke trap or an old,
like a
where
bridger.
the jaws are stamped.
Yeah,
And bridgers are the same way.
yeah,
They're stamped out of it, and those are a little bit less forgiving on feet. But uh, just technical, technology that's advanced. Some of the catch poles that they've got now, dispatch poles. Everything it seems to get better and better, and hopefully it keeps going that way.
yeah, yeah. I mean, dog proofs were a huge thing. What,
Yeah,
10,
dog
10
proofs.
years
Yeah,
ago?
that kind of revolutionized raccoon trapping there.
Yeah, yeah. It sped it up. It made it to where, you know, young kids and even somebody who doesn't want, a truckload of footholds or whatever, you
Right.
buy a dozen and stay busy. But yeah, definitely the technology advancements on traps is been amazing the last several years. But my other question, another question, not my other, another question is, how do we get people to wear fur? What do you think the best avenue of approach for that is? I mean,
Um. Well, I think the people that are selling fur for garments. I mean, we've got to market it. Uh, More trappers need to buy fur. And just have your fur tan for decorations. I mean, there's a lot of man caves out there that could use a good coyote skin hanging on the wall. Uh, Now that's not wearing fur, but that's making use of fur and using it in our everyday lives. The main thing is a lot of times it's just not cold enough for people to want to wear fur.
yeah,
Furs are very warm, warm garments, and you want it to be cold uh, while you're wearing that stuff. And I think another thing that could be, the right kind of celebrities or whatever, if they're wearing fur, that could catch on and be a trend. I just don't know that it's accessible to everybody, but we could still market it and try to make it accessible to everybody. I mean, it is green, it's renewable. You're never going to trap all these animals out to extinction. Um, why not utilize that? Why wear fake fur that uses petroleum
yeah,
to be made in the manufacture of that?
yeah,
There's someone's got the statistics out there. Excuse me. So, I don't know how much petroleum it takes to make a fake fur garment, but why do that when you could be wearing the real thing?
yeah. That's
And
easily replaceable. Like you said, renewal. I tell people, that give me a hard time, say it's cruel and inhumane, and I say, do you have a gas car? Do you have an electric car? And a lot of them are like, well, they're city people. I've got an electric car. It's renewable energy. It's green. I'm like, all right, same way with fur. I just don't take my animals and, throw them in a ditch. I skin them out. I take them to a cellar. I sell them or tan them and keep them for myself. If the price improves
right.
maybe next year, then I'll sell them then. You know, and I'm like, it's the original renewable resource, fur. I
Oh
mean,
yeah. And this country was built on it.
yeah,
That's what helps westward expansion was beaver hides.
yep,
If you look back at your history, uh, you know, there's still people are still using beavers in the Hatters Market, and that's where a lot of it went back then.
yeah, yep,
Uh, it's like you said, green, renewable, and the original renewable resource.
yep, yep,
Uh, yeah, and wherever you can, even if it's just somebody, you take all the raccoons you caught that year and had them tanned and made like a king size throw or something. When it gets cold during the winter, and it's been a cold winter so far, early winter, uh, you know, it might be nice to have a fur blanket to cuddle up underneath on the couch.
yeah, yep, yeah. And it's I don't know. I don't know how to like my wife. She's a cold. She's cold. I mean, she's cold all
Cold
the time. Her
natured.
hands are cold, and and I'm like, well, why don't we get this or that? And then she honestly says she doesn't care. She's like, yeah, I don't care. Get this or that, but I can't ever keep that many coyotes back. It's going to take me. It'd probably take me 5 years to catch 40 coyotes that were nice to make a nice
Right.
comforter, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure I could go buy one on the internet, but it just I don't use enough fur. When you say trappers need to wear more fur, I don't wear very much fur. My kids have
Well,
some
I mean,
fur stuff.
I think it starts with us. Like I don't. I've got a tan fox behind me. I have that just thrown over my chair.
Hmm.
Um, I'm waiting to get a black coyote back from a taxidermist that's just going to be garment tanned. Um, but one year for Christmas, one of my wife's gifts was a hair tie that was made out of red fox fur.
Yeah.
It starts with us. We
Yep.
need to buy those products. I think I bought that from F&T. They have them for sale. They've got all kinds of stuff on their website for sale.
Yeah.
It can start with us.
Yeah. Like the girls, I bought them some. I think it's beaver earmuffs. I
Uh-huh.
think I got them from. I think Billy Doris down south when he
Yeah.
was selling stuff. That's what I got them for Christmas, and I told him, if it's cold out, wear them. Take care of them. But wear them. And but yeah, you're right. We as trappers need to utilize fur more. I got my how do I do this? Yeah, my skunk from last year. I tanned it myself, and
Yeah.
so it still needs a little work. He looks a little rough up there, but but yeah,
I mean, and tanning fur is a lot of work. I mean, you've got to get the pH right, and then when it's all tanned, you have to break the leather in. And people don't realize what goes into it. And if it ever made a comeback, how many jobs
yeah,
could tanneries and garment houses and all that add
yep,
and help people that are struggling?
yeah. I mean, they used to have in my hometown. We had a place called Belt Fur and Wool, and it was one of the biggest fur, I would say, like shippers in the Midwest back in, I'm going to say probably from the 50s on into the 80s. And that's where a lot of guys, even in high school, that's where they would make their money. They would, work as scrapers, go in there after
Yeah.
school and scrape. And of course, the railroad just runs right through my hometown, and that's where they had their own line that would, they'd put the furs on the train and they'd ship them out, or they'd truck them somewhere, and I can still remember the smell. Of course, it was like in a building downtown off the square, and kids would be riding down that alley on our bikes. And it's a different smell, them guys in there
Yeah.
scraping all them. I think my father-in-law worked there. An old guy I used to work with, old Frankie, and he worked there. And I think they said they got like a nickel a coon is what they were, scraping. And but old Heather, Heather, don't you?
I
Heather
think I know what
Nunn.
you're talking about.
Yeah, she asked, does not get cold enough in Texas. Coldest place would be the Panhandle. It got cold there a few years ago, didn't it, Heather?
Yeah, that'd been nice to have a blanket then.
Yep. It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, Heather. But no, we met. I forgot to talk about this. We met on a YouTube page years ago, I think, on Heifers and Hides.
Yeah.
Isn't that where we met? It's not much of a trapping page now. It's more of a go on there and give everybody a hard time page. But
Yeah, it's still a fun group.
yeah, it's a very fun group. But yep. And then I know Crystal. She lives probably, I don't know, maybe an hour away. But
Yeah.
where she lives and where I grew up is about 30 minutes away. So yeah,
Okay.
she's crazy.
Yeah, that's how that group's probably responsible for me and Brent Overton being buddies. And I've got to do some trapping with Brent and got to do some hunting with Brent, and heck of a good guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. They had a reunion, or I think a guy from Fulton got married. Joe. Joe got married, and a bunch of them come up here, and I missed it. I don't know
Really?
what I was doing. I don't know. It's being antisocial or something. Didn't go, and they had a good time. But we probably ought to try to get together one of these years.
It'd be a good time.
Yeah, yeah. Summer, get up
I
here.
think Josh now he's got that. I think it's a campground or like a concert, outdoor type thing. Campground, I'm pretty sure, and they have live music out there.
Heck yeah,
We need to talk to him.
yeah. Well, my wife doesn't camp. Her idea of camping is
Okay.
Motel 6, and now I'm kind of that way. I'm not gonna go sleep in a tent. I mean, I will for 1 or 2 nights, but
Right.
I'm not I'm not as rough and
Yeah.
tough as I used to
I
be.
like my hotel beds or my. Nothing beats at home though.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yep. But all right. What is what is your favorite memory or memories of trapping that you have?
well, I've got a bunch of them. We'll just start with one of the very first memorable ones. My wife was actually there with me when I caught my first coyote, and I don't think I'll ever forget that day because I was pretty discouraged. Was trying to catch coyotes, and the year before didn't catch any. That's when the year before is when I first really tried to get serious about catching coyotes, and we were riding around just about this time of the year, and we caught it just right up the hill from where we live, and that she was right there to see the beginning of this obsession.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so now she has to put up with me trapping and being gone all the time. Uh, Other good memories is just like having my kids there when I've caught stuff. I've had my son with me when I've caught coyotes, bobcat. Just having them ride around with me and making memories with the kids.
Yep.
Uh, Trapping places with my friends. I've got a real good buddy named Casey Stone, and we went to a place last year and trapped. I think he caught his first red fox there. I was there to see that. Just lots of good memories on the trap line. I don't think there's ever really been a bad memory on the trap line, except maybe skunks, but that's even not that bad.
No, no,
Not
not.
still not as bad as a possum.
Yeah. Yep. The old silver fox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But no, I probably that feeling of catching your first coyote or even your first bobcat is the best way I can describe it is. I mean, it's not as exciting as having your child, but I
No.
mean, it's the accomplishment. The just you feel
Yeah.
like you've
I mean,
accomplished, almost the impossible. You know what I mean? You're just like, this animal can run around anywhere in the state. Anywhere its legs can carry it, and I made it step in this circle.
I was
That big.
just about to say it's got anywhere it wants to walk, and you made it step on a 2 inch
Yep,
square.
yep. And the first coyote I caught. I I didn't know I caught it. I hadn't checked traps yet, and a buddy of mine was deer hunting, and he goes, "Man, there's a coyote just laying out here on this hump in this field." I was like, where is it?" And he told me. I was like, "Dude, he's in my trap." So I got go, go take a picture of him. He sent me a picture of it, and man, I was so excited when I got off. I bet I broke the speed limit, by 10 mile an hour going, because I had a little drive to get back home, get out there and get him checked. But yeah, you know, I was out there jumping around, dancing and pumping my arms and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
But it's
When you got something in the trap, there shouldn't really be a speed limit anyway.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean,
Be exempt.
it's like a switch goes off too, and that's what I tell young trappers. I'm like, I go, trapping's not hard. Trapping's really not that hard if you do everything. Bed your trap. Make sure your trap's clean, and you're on location. Where there's sign. It's like patience. Patience is the best thing you can have. And if you don't catch one, try somewhere else. Move it.
Yeah, and that's patience. That's probably one of the things that most people getting into it lack,
Yeah.
and I'm guilty of that too. I want instant success, but sometimes you're just going to have to wait that coyote out.
Yep.
I'm on a property right now. I just caught a coyote on it yesterday, and he was an old coyote too. I'll send you a picture of it here in a little bit.
All right.
Uh, but I've been, when I trapped this property before last year, it was just bang, 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 and I went down there expecting the same thing. And this year, it's been frustrating.
Yep.
Been a couple fox out of that place, and a couple coons, and now we're getting into the coyotes.
Yep.
But sometimes they make you wait, and they'll frustrate you.
Yep.
I mean, you could be doing everything right, and the coyote's just not in the mood to work your set.
Yep. Yep. Or he
And
just
that,
the ones I hate are the ones when they'll like crap right next to it,
yeah,
or they'll dig at it and or trip it
paw
or
prints everywhere, but on the pan.
yep, yep. I get a lot
That
of that, but I mean, I said
that happens to
trapping's
everybody, and you just gotta. That's when you just wait them out.
yep, yep. I said trapping's easy. I mean, the trapping's not easy by no means. It's a ton of work, but I try to get the guys, the young kids, to not stress about does this set look all right, man. Every mouse hole in every field is different.
It
I
is.
mean, you. I mean, as long as you've done everything you're supposed to, yeah, follow kind of these rules. Bed your trap. Don't have too much blocking. Don't make it too hard for them to get in there. Don't have lure and bait. Smeared all over the trap. That's where it gets easy. And once you catch them, that's that. For some reason, it's like a switch gets flipped and you're just like, all right, I got this. Then you just put them in. You come up, maybe a day later, two later, hey, another coyote. So it's
It's that
definitely
first one that's the toughest one,
it is.
and a lot
It
of
is.
that is just people not being patient or trying to overthink it.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, it's pretty straightforward. I we talked about sets earlier. I only am going to put in 3 or 4 different style sets,
Yep.
and I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm building on what I've learned, what other people that have been successful before me, catching a lot of coyotes, a lot of bobcats, do what they do.
Yeah.
Learn their methods and adapt it to your trap line, and that's when you'll start really. That's when it'll start really clicking for you,
Yeah.
in
Yep.
my opinion.
Yep. Yep. Like what works for you may not work for me. And
Exactly.
what works for me here may not work for my neighbor who traps. Just 2 blocks over. I mean, you gotta, like you said, you gotta adapt and change and I'm not a flashy trapper. Like I don't say feathers. Like my bobcat, every bobcat I've ever caught except for my second one was just like a dirt hole set. That's I've only caught one. I had a feather off a bird that I hung above, like on a sandbar, and I caught one bobcat like that. But I mean, for the most part, everyone I've ever caught is just a plain old dirt hole. I was in the right spot, where they were coming through. But
Yeah, I mean I've hung. We can't use feathers here, but I've used CDs or burlap
yeah,
sacks or whatever, and that just it turns into more stuff to carry around with you and takes up
yeah,
room in the truck. Or if you're on a 4 wheeler that where you don't have any room at all,
yeah,
so just a dirt hole. Cats. If I'm trying to actually catch a cat, I might move my trap back a little bit.
yeah,
Uh, it's still going to be offset about 2 or 3 inches, but I might because they might walk up onto the trap, and I might. To me, it don't matter if I catch them by the back leg or the front leg. If they walk, the more chances I have at getting a foot in a trap, I'm
yeah,
going to take it.
yep.
Um,
The longer you can keep them there. Yep, yep,
yeah,
yep.
and that goes back to good baits and lures and good urines.
Yes, yep. So I want to talk about what do you think your greatest accomplishment? It doesn't have to be trapping. It can be anything. Your greatest accomplishment in life. What has that
In
been?
life, well, I mean, you always think. I hope I haven't hit that my greatest accomplishment yet, but I mean, just thinking about it, uh, just being a dad to my kids, being a husband to my wife, those are some of the greatest accomplishments any man can hope to achieve, I
Yep,
think.
yep,
Um, I'm fortunate to have a wife that's supportive about everything that I do. Uh, she's the first one that gets messages when I catch something, and she's always supportive of it. Uh, but yeah, I mean, if you'd have told me here's an accomplishment, and I know you did it as well. Uh, when I started trapping, you told me that I ended up doing some stuff for Trapping Time TV,
yep,
or I'd end up being associated with Southern Snares. I'd have laughed at you. Like I don't, that's to me those are big accomplishments for a trapper to be involved with that. And I know you did it.
yep,
Roger filmed some,
yeah,
uh, and that was a really good time. But just in life, My kids and my marriage and all that is probably what I would consider my greatest accomplishment.
Yep. Yep. I agree. I agree. So, what is your advice for young trappers that want to get into trapping or even the trapping lifestyle? Because it is a lifestyle. It's not.
It
It's
is. To me, trapping's year round. If I'm not setting traps or whatever, I'm in the summer, I'm getting them ready to for the fall. Um, if starting out, you have to really look at what you want out of it. If you just want to control, do a little bit of predator management on your deer lease, and that's what you want out of it, you can do that with a pretty small investment. Dozen traps or so. Uh, but if you want to, catch numbers and all that, you want something more out of it than just managing one property, you're going to have to sacrifice some things in your life because it becomes all consuming, especially this time of the year. I mean, that's what I wake up thinking about is trapping, and what I go to bed thinking about is trapping. That's the last thing on my mind when
Yep.
I fall asleep usually. Uh, it's funny how old Stinky Kyle make you lose sleep. But it is, just figure out what you want out of your trapping and what you want to put into it, and sky's the limit.
Yep.
I mean, there's YouTube, there's, I mean, all kinds of opportunities for you to do whatever you want to with your trapping. I mean, I think everybody ought to do as much as they can with their trapping. Uh, but yeah, just what you put into it, what you want out of it. That's just like anything in life. If you want to be part of that, that community, that lifestyle, you're gonna have to put some stuff into it, but you'll get back everything that you put into it.
Yep.
I think.
Yep. I agree. I agree. But all right, dude. Is there anything you want to talk about? Big Creek Fur,
Uh,
anything like that?
no, I mean, good luck to everybody this season. I hope everybody catches a ton of fur. I hope everybody gets the best prices that they can get. Um, don't forget to support your associations. You need to be a member of your state association, NTA, FTA. Everything that you can be a part of, because your dollars count for our trapping rights. And we've seen it in other states like New Mexico and some of those where they've lost trapping rights, and we don't want to lose that in our area. So being part of those organizations helps. It might not seem like it. It might just seem like you're paying a membership and getting a magazine, but no, there's more to it than that. I mean, it's a good way to learn because you're getting these free magazines, or not free, but they come with your
Mm-hmm.
membership to the organizations. But there's good articles in there. There's interviews in there that I like to read. Sometimes some interviews I've read 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that's you got to support your organizations, and just get out there and do it. Get out there and trap.
Yep. Yep. If you don't catch something, just keep trying.
Yeah, I
Step.
mean, best way to get out of a shooting slump in basketball is to keep shooting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
same way, just keep setting traps. Eventually, if you're in a slump, that slump will end, and you'll thank yourself for all the hard work you put in to getting yourself past that hump and getting on with your season.
Yep. 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 But no. Yeah. You're talking about trapping time a little bit ago. I got a little nervous because like last year I got COVID, and I think I had a pretty slow start. I had 2 coyotes and a bobcat. Then I got COVID, and I texted Robbie, and I was like, "Dude, I got COVID. I think I'm just gonna call it a season." I didn't feel good, and he's like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." I don't think I didn't get any footage sent in last year, but he's very supportive
Oh yeah,
of
he's
us. I
excellent to
mean,
work with, and
yeah,
uh, you know has a really good show
yeah,
in my opinion.
yep,
I think it was really neat how they reached out to other trappers, and you took advantage of it. Roger took advantage of it. I took advantage of it. I mean, I was surprised by how it went, uh, but I put in a lot of footage and got a lot out of it.
yeah,
It goes back to what I was saying earlier.
yep,
Put into it what you want out of it.
yep, yep.
Um, And whatever we do in the future, I hope to always, be associated with Robbie and uh, Trapping Time TV. It's been fun. It's been an awesome experience, and I was nervous about filming myself because I'm not confident enough to do this. I'm going to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yep.
But and you said you had COVID. About the time I started filming, I tested negative for COVID, but they treated me like I had COVID. I was
Yeah.
sicker than I'd been in a long, long time. And right when I got sick and wasn't feeling worth a darn, boy, the catches started rolling in, and that's the way it always goes.
Yep.
If you're in a hurry or something like that, you're gonna catch a lot that day. And the days that you got all day to mess around, it seems like, well, that's when you don't catch anything. But yeah, it makes life interesting.
Yep. Yeah, it does. I'm gonna try to get Robbie on here one of these days. I know he's busier than a one-legged man at a butt kicking contest, but
Oh yeah, he
he's
stays busy.
but yeah, maybe after I don't know trapping season and things slow down, I may have him on towards the end. I haven't talked to him about it, so I'll have to.
I'm sure he'd love to do it.
I hope so. I hope so. But yeah, well, I mean we're running a little short, but man, this has been a blast, dude. I mean
Yeah, Jeff, it's been good talking to you.
it has. It has. Next week, we got the old, I call her the Muskrat Assassin. She's a young lady that her fiance traps. And she told me, she's like, I want to trap a beaver. And I was like, I'm not a water trapper. So, but I made a bet with her. We'd had some adult beverages. And I told her, if you catch 300 muskrats, it's like, I'll take you beaver trapping. I even gave her, had a colony trap in the back of my truck. I said, you take this colony trap, that'll get you going. And her fiance was just like, she's like, don't encourage her, dude. And I was like, nope, she wants to trap, take her trap. And so we're going to talk to old Rachel next weekend. And I don't know, we'll see what else happens. But Jake, I appreciate you giving up your time. I hope your brisket didn't get burned up.
Oh no, it's good to go. It's got several hours before it's done.
Good deal. Well, hey, dude, I hope tight chains. Thank you. If you need anything, holler at me. I'll do what I can. And man, I appreciate it. I appreciate you being on here. And
Hey, no problem. I appreciate you too, buddy.
yep, yep. All right. Well,
All right.
real quick, Ryan Knoll. We may have to get Ryan on here. He's a trapper too. He's a guy I grew up with.
Yeah.
I saw him at the what was it the trapping state trapping convention 2 years ago. And this guy, he posts, I think I'm doing good. And then Ryan, he'll trap a couple, I don't know, maybe a month out of the season, and he's piling up coyotes and bobcats. And I'm just like, man, you make me look like a novice. But yeah, he's a good trapper. But thank you, Ryan. He commented, good job, guys. So I appreciate that. So, but we're gonna get out of here, Jake. Like I said, I appreciate it. I hope we can do it again someday. I'm sure we will. But
Can I make a few plugs real quick?
yeah, plug away, buddy.
All right. You can see all my stuff on my page. It's called Big Creek Fur, and this year I'm using Trapping Time baits and Southern Snares baits and lures, and also their cable restraints. And I've actually the last three coyotes I've caught on Sawmill Creek's Final Step. That's a heck of a good bait too if anybody's looking for bait recommendations. But anyway, yeah, those are Big Creek Fur. Check us out, give us a like, follow us, all that good stuff. And good luck everybody this year, and tight chains and all that good stuff.
Yep, yep. I may have to get Linda and Michael on here, see how their deer hunting went. Did you see her pictures? She was posting
I've
they were
not
deer
seen any
hunting.
pictures today. I've not had time to get online today very much, but I'll check them out. I saw the picture of them sitting together in the stand.
Yeah, she made a comment about she's almost positive that's how most tree stand accidents happen because they're hunting with their spouse. But no, all right, yeah, dude. Thank you very much. Like I said, if you need anything, holler. I'll be more than happy to do what I can, and we will get together one of these days. I don't know.
Yeah,
when,
we're gonna make it happen.
But
right. We might have to do it at a Missouri Trapping Convention or something.
Yep, may have to. All right, dude.
Sounds like a plan.
Have a good evening. We'll holler at you later.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Man, Jake was a real good time. It I'm so appreciative that he got on here and answered questions and just told about his his story and his life. And so go to Big Creek Fur, check him out. Go to trappingtimetv.com for baits, lures, Sawmill Creek. Um, Gosh, I can't believe Southern Snare. Go check them out. It's you can never have too many baits, lures, or traps or snares. So, all right, guys, we're gonna get on out of here. Thank you.